Hey, what's up guys? It's Inka 4x4 and thank you again for tuning into this video. I appreciate all my subscribers, and if you're new to this channel, we have an online store, overlandoutfitters.com, that sells everything from gazelle tents to Morimoto lighting, Casey highlight lighting, all sorts of overland gear. We have a new camper topper coming in. We have a Jeep replacement hardtop, rooftop tents. It's just endless. You need to go over to the site. This video right here is about products that I've used from the beginning or that have changed my ability to go out further, adventure more, and all that. And I do a overland trip that I host through Airbnb, and these products have also been very important. So if you're new to overlanding, if you're new to adventure travel, definitely want to check this out. It's a 3-video series, and it's going to cover the gazelle tents, it's going to cover the propane fire pits, which ones I recommend, and it's going to go over the M416 military trailer that I've built. I built several of them, so I want to go over the basic idea behind it. And thank you again for joining, and I hope you like this. So we'll start off, and I'll pick you up with the fire pits. So here we have the Tempo Tusk, the IGNIK fire can, and the Outland fire pit. Each one of them has their benefits, each one of them has their downsides, but I'm going to go over all that with you so you can make a good decision, and stay to the end so I can tell you which one I highly recommend you purchasing. So we are gonna start off with the Outland. This one's the least expensive, and it's available on Amazon. That's where I purchased this one. The Outland and the fire can I have 2 seasons with, and this one, let's just get it started and I'll show you exactly how it goes. I'll start off with the negatives to this one. The negatives are the size. So the size are pretty big, and I'll put the stats also here so you can review that, like all the fire that it puts out and all that. I'll just put it up here. And if you're like me, I sometimes am not the most careful with my gear, and I've left this one out in the rain just for the whole season, and it held up pretty well considering it's the cheapest option. And it comes with these straps like this that come off. One of the straps broke, but it still works. The lid here, it covers this, and it's got the rocks, the lava rocks. Now they crack fairly easy, I want to say. They're pretty lightweight, but you know, this here, it's gonna rattle inside the vehicle, and it's gonna take up a lot of space, and it's heavy. So that's one thing, that's the downsides to this. The connection to the propane tank is fixed. You can't remove it. It's got a dial that you can see here, and I'm going to turn it towards me so I can work it. But it's got a very long cord, which is nice, so you can keep the propane tank far away. It's the longest cord out of all of these. And we're going to turn the propane on, and there we go. So it's on. Now, the flame to this one is not like the biggest, but I feel like the space and then the rocks, it makes it to where the heat, I feel out of all of them, it's definitely tied with the Tempo Tusk, but it's more than the IGNIK. because those rocks, they radiate heat after they've been burning for a while. So that's it at max, so you can kind of see. And it's great if you're on a budget and you have more space, like in your truck or your vehicle. So that's the Outland. And all the links to all this stuff is going to be available. I'll have them there for you. We'll move on to the next one. This one does not have a clicker, so it doesn't have an ignite feature. Like I said, my strap broke, so if your strap completely breaks, then you'd have to figure out some way to keep it contained, because the rocks are obviously gonna go like flying everywhere. So one other thing while we're doing this I'll mention is I have a 5-gallon propane fire pit, but the smaller these tanks get, the liquid gas or propane seems to freeze up, and sometimes it won't work as well. That's why I've seen the 5-can ones come with like an insulation thing. So just a thing to consider. Next we'll go over the the fire can from IGNIK. This is the fire can from IGNIK. And the nice feature with this is it's the space that it takes up, it's really compact. This is the size of an ammo can. There's another brand out there called the fire can, I believe, or the lava box. And that one, from the reviews I've seen, puts out as much heat or more heat than all of these. But the thing I don't like about that one is how after a while the exterior just looks terrible. It looks like you've thrown an ammo can into a fire pit, and it's just all the powder coating, all this stuff just like kind of burnt off. It to me that doesn't look that great. It's probably really functional, but I think for the price they probably can invest in some more features. But this one's available on REI, and the lid comes off of this. You set it aside. This doesn't come with any rocks or any lava rocks or anything like that. The bottom of it has legs that you can prop like this. It has a little rubber grommets there so it doesn't rattle around. And like I said, I had this for 2 seasons. The exterior's held up really well. I'm going to show you before I turn it on. Just walk you through it. The orange powder coatings held up pretty well. The exterior's held up pretty well. It's got this nice little instruction, and it looks like stainless steel or something. I feel like it dissipates heat really well. It's got a quick connect for the propane, and let me show you how that works. So this here, this comes with it. It's not as long as the Outland, but it comes with a little cover for the propane, and you basically connect it to that end like that, and you connect this end to the propane, the same kind of fittings. I can hear the gas already turning on. So it has a little hole through the side that you can stick like one of these long neck fire starters through there. But I'll show you the flame. So sometimes the liquid gas sits, And this one's not as full, but the Outland is good for like 3 people, maybe 4. This one I would say is good for like 2 people. And the heat around it does really well. Like I said, I love how well it's held up. And the convenient size is really important because it's really easy to just pack away. And it's available on REI. I'll list all the stats here so you can review it. It's about $200. I think the Outland's a little bit under $200 on Amazon. And yeah, it's a great ammo can style fire pit. And the nice thing about this one is I think out of all 3 of them, the heat dissipates really easily. So probably because it doesn't have any lava rocks and it has like all these openings, you know, it cools down pretty easy. But you can unconnect this and then it's still pretty hot, but if you were to really need to leave, you can close it up like this and grab it. You know, you can pick it up and get going pretty fast if you needed to. Yeah, the lava, the Outland Living one, you know, if those rocks are really hot, if you got it really hot, you probably need to wait for it to cool. So this one would need more time to cool down. This one, it cools down pretty quick. So we'll move on to the third one that I want to show you guys, which is the Tempo Tusk. It's like the newest one that they've released. And this one's got some really cool benefits, but it also has some negatives that I want to point out. So the bag that it comes in is really nice. It reminds me of that Blue Ridge Overland bags. It comes with the lava rocks that are higher quality than the one in the Outland. And it stows really easy. You know, it's very compact. It is the most expensive out of all of these. And the benefits of it is just the size, and it does put out a lot of heat. So let's go over it, and then I'll tell you what the drawbacks are. So one of the main drawbacks to this is the setup time. Like, I'm gonna take it apart a little bit first. So you got these rocks here, and these things are sharp. So you want to be careful with this. You know, you don't want to accidentally trip and fall onto this because it would hurt. So that's that. And basically all the stuff lays down. You can see it's sometimes a little hard to take apart. But so yeah, all this lays flat like this. And so assembling it takes a little bit more time. The main negative to this is really the soot. I mean, I don't know if you see my hands, but the soot's bad. And you touch your face and you look like a coal miner really quick. So we'll just set it up and I'll show you it. You want to do it like one side first, like this. This little thing goes inside the bottom. And then the pipe, this comes unconnected and it comes with a little thing to tighten it. But it basically has holes and it has like a little groove here. And you see my hands, how like dirty this is getting. but it slides in there to where it won't turn, and you have the little holes for the gas to come out the top. And so I'll show you how it starts. These little things slide up into itself like that. This, you drop in, you drop these in. I might actually steal some of the lava rocks from the Outland and throw in here, because there's not that many that come in here. I feel like they probably should put in more, but whatever. And then you're all set. The same kind of connections. It's about as long as the IGNIK one, so it's not any longer. I'll turn this on. Now I hear the hissing. There we go. So the flame does come up a good bit, but since it's got the holes and everything through the side, I feel like it's not as efficient. It's definitely more efficient than the IGNIK. I would say with the Outland, it's about that, maybe a little bit more. But again, the drawbacks. Look at my hands. You see my hands. So the benefits, definitely the space. It's definitely it's priciest, and you can take a good look at it. It's made here in the U.S. I think that's the only one that's made here in the U.S. And I do really like it. I feel like I will run this one the most, just because it's more compact. It does take a little bit more time to set up, and then you have that issue with it being, you know, your hands just getting all black. But I really like it. If I had to do it just one time, I would probably, if I had the space, if I had like a trailer or something, I would probably get the Outland. It's a little bit over $100, under $200, and you get good heat. If I needed to be really compact and you know, didn't have that much space, I would get the Tempo Tusk or the IGNIK. The IGNIK, if I knew it was just going to be myself doing this. Now the other thing to this is, once this gets hot, it's also going to require some time for it to cool down. So the IGNIK is going to pack up the easiest because it's going to cool down the fastest. And so each one of them has their pros and cons. I invite you to check them out on the website and you know, make a decision. Leave a comment, see which one you like. Let me know if I missed something. So I appreciate you. We went over this, and in the description you could click the links. We're going to go over the Gazelle tents, and we're also going to go over the M416 military trailer, which I'll do a blog post on my website just going over all the bits and pieces. It's one of the best entry-level trailers you can get into. It's very easy to work on, and it just adds a whole nother layer to your abilities, because you're able to carry, you know, the extra equipment you need without having to do crazy modifications to your vehicle. And yeah, thank you so much for staying here with me, and I appreciate you guys, all my new subscribers. If you're new to the channel, think about subscribing, and I will try not to touch my face.